Yes, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson, Manchester United, Newport preview, FA Cup. Let's get into it. The big questions around this game: will United play a rotated side? Can we afford to play a rotated side? And do we need to play a rotated side? Aside from that, let's get into our opposition. League Two's Newport. Where are they? What are they doing? Surely this is going to be an easy game for us. Let's have a look. United's last 5 results have been 2 wins and 1 draw, 2 losses. It's consistent in that it's properly inconsistent. We beat a Wigan Athletic to get through to this stage, and it could be a proper opportunity to spread some minutes across the squad if that's what the manager decides to do. I think confidence is as much important as anything else, and I would try to fucking steamroll them, to be perfectly honest with you. We're coming off the back of a 2-2 with Spurs, and I think that United weren't as bad as the media made them out to be in that game, nor were Spurs as good as the media made them out to be in that game, probably just to sort of put it on United a little bit for whatever reason. So I think this is an opportunity. Like, you can't scrape past these because you're going to get hammered. So let's just absolutely pour it on them and let's see what we can do with them. Newport's last 5 is pretty good. They got 3 wins and 2 draws. They're in pretty good form regardless. They've had 2 narrow 1-0 wins against both Wrexham and Doncaster, as well as a 3-1 victory against Eastleigh, non-league Eastleigh, in the FA Cup. It's going to be a record attendance for Newport. It looks like it'll be a complete sellout. It holds about 8,000 on the ground, and it'll be absolutely packed to the rafters. And it shouldn't be an issue for us, this fixture. There's always the possibility of an upset, right? That the FA Cup basically trades on the possibility of upsets, but those upsets have become fewer and fewer as the wealth at the top end of the Premier League has increased to the detriment of some of the leagues lower down. It's no longer as competitive as it used to be. You're looking like it just isn't the case anymore. But you can get an upset if you're not up for it. As simple as that. You know, we've seen some excellent Manchester United sides, Sir Alex Ferguson Manchester United sides, have some embarrassing defeats in cup competitions, famously to the likes of York and Southend. And you know, there's been plenty of times that United have fell out of the cup earlier than we should have done. So there can be an upset. They beat Leicester a couple of years ago. They forced Tottenham to a replay back in 2018. Quite a while ago now. But you know, these are things you have to think about. Some clubs just love an upset in the FA Cup. And make no mistake, this is the biggest match in Newport's history. So you got to think that if they put everything into this and they just catch United napping just a little bit, it could be problematic for us. So games like this can pass you by. If you get lost focusing on elsewhere, you got to go and treat this game like you need to steamroller them. And I'm thinking United have had a couple of weeks in between our last game. It'd be nice for us to really kick back into gear with a resounding good performance. I do care about the result, but realistically, United now start having to turn the corner and get good performances in. Now, normally are a team that will compete with you physically, and it's hard to differentiate a lot of League Two sides sometimes because the games look a little bit more like war than football. And Newport our textbook League Two football side. They know what they're going to do. It's very, very clear what they're going to do. They're going to low block and they're going to hit us on the counter, and they're going to try and capitalise on set plays. The book was written long ago about how to beat a Premier League side as a lower division side. We're probably going to see them line up with a 5-3-2, and the 2 is problematic. What you'd like to see with United is us leaving 2 centre-halves on the halfway line to deal with the striker. Now, if they low block with 5-3-2, there's a very strong chance, and I think this would be ballsy from them if they did it, and it could pay off if they did it, that you leave the 2 up. You leave the 2 against 2. And United will be asking themselves, can we afford to go 2v2? Because sometimes it's just a foot race. And foot race doesn't care how much you earn, and a foot race doesn't care, what the badge is on your chest. If you're faster, and there's nothing you can do about that. But United have dealt with fast forwards in the past, so we shouldn't be too worried about that. But I think it will be a 5-3-2, which means that we're going to have to be at our creative best, and we might have to utilise set plays ourselves, which is something we've been a bit shit at in recent times. They are able to be got at, though. They've had some big clean sheet issues across the season, and struggling in League Two isn't a good sign for them that they're going to be able to keep United out. But you've got to think that your motivation and anticipation going into this game will be at 100. They are well drilled. So crosses are going to be a worry, whether it's open play or set plays, because this is something they're very good at, and it's actually something United have not been great at. Will Evans is the man that you're going to have to worry about. Crosses are going to be levered at him, and a fella called Palmer Holden. They're both threats from that position, and that's going to be their best opportunity nicking a goal against us. I think their 11 will look like this. And like I said, those two that are getting left forward are the ones that I think you've got to really watch out for. And the star man is going to be Will Evans. If anyone's going to hurt us, this is the guy. He's the third top scorer in League Two at the moment. He's got 15 goals, 1 assist in 28 games. He's a big weapon. He's attracting attention from clubs way above Newport station, and he is by far their biggest talent. He's a good natural finisher, and he'll pose a risk if he gets the ball in a dangerous area, and he will pull the trigger. Like, he's not shy at shooting. He will have a go. For United, I think the match winner is probably going to be Rasmus Højlund. But I'll get into that in a second once I've given you the 11. 11-wise, for United, I'm going Bayındır in net, obviously with Onana featuring at the AFCON. I think we go Bayındır in net for his debut. I could see it being Tom Heaton, but I think it'll be Bayındır just because I feel like he wants to go and see what this kid is all about. And Tom seems happy just being like the third wheel in the goalkeeping situation at the moment. So I get the impression that it'll be that. But I wouldn't be surprised for it to be Tom Heaton. And I think either will be fine. Right back, I'm going Wan-Bissaka. Left back, I'm going Dalot. At centre-half, I am hoping it is the long-awaited return of Varane and Martinez as a partnership, and that will be so needed. I can't wait to see that. In midfield, I would love to see Casemiro alongside Kobbie Mainoo. And that foursome, Varane, Martinez, Casemiro, Mainoo, that should allow Manchester United to effectively play through whatever press, if they press, because Newport might just allow us to have the ball there, or they might try and push thinking it's an easy turnover opportunity for them to have there. So it could go either way there. But what I'm pretty sure of is those four could look after a football in our third. So I would look to try and play those four, and I think they're going to control the tempo. Now, people might go, two sixes against the League Two side. There's something to be said for making what looks like defensive decisions. When you push too many players forward, especially in a team that's low blocking, you got to remember you can't necessarily get the ball to those players. Like, you could play 2-10s. Like, if you had a fit Mason Mount and a fit Bruno, this would be the sort of game that you think, I want to play 2 number 10s against these and try and dictate the play. But because there's going to be 8 players probably just on the edge of the box, where are you getting the ball to them 10s? Very difficult to put the ball into the feet of those 10s. So then you end up just passing it around the defence anyway, and you have loads of players in front of the ball, all man marked, that you can't pass to. So sometimes making what appears to be like a negative or a defensive sort of decision create space further in front of the ball because you've got the players that can knock it around. And it's weird. Like, I've done this myself. I've made substitutions where I've pulled off an attacking player and gone with a more defensive mindset, and you've started to control the game a little bit more. And when you start to control the game a little bit more, things start to open. So Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo, I really want to see them together, but I would also really like to see, and Casemiro's got that forward play early in him as well. He likes to put the ball in early. So where you've maybe not had that from someone like a McTominay, Casemiro's going to get it in there. He's also a threat at set plays. And I think Kobbie Mainoo's making himself undroppable at the moment. So that's the decision-making for picking that midfield. It will be Bruno, and hopefully Bruno pushed a little bit higher now without the defensive responsibilities because he's got Casemiro and Mainoo. I think Rashford, Garnacho, and Rasmus Højlund. And I think that's got to be the 11. And we go as strong as we can go. Am I rotating? Absolutely not. Now, if we get 2 or 3-0 up in the first half, yes, come the 60th minute, we're going to be giving match time out to loads of people. Willie Kambala, let's have a look at you, son. Amad Diallo, if you're now fit, let's have a look at you, son. We're going to give out as many minutes as possible to people if we get 2 or 3 goals to the good. If we're not, well, then obviously you're going to have to try and twist and win the game, aren't you? Any way that you can. But that would be my sort of mindset going into this game. Now, why Rasmus Højlund? Well, he scored a proper striker's goal against Spurs, and we need to see more of that from him. This is an excellent opportunity for him to start putting some goals next to his name. And he seems to be getting more comfortable in his role at United, and the goals will become more common. We've had 2 in the league now, the first obviously being against Villa. And if you provide for him, the goals will come. And I'm thinking those earlier balls, they come in from 20 yards further back when Casemiro gets the ball. He looks forward first. He's going to find Marcus and he's going to find Rasmus Højlund in good positions, depending on how high and how excitable this Newport line is. But I think they'll still find space, and Casemiro's the man to feed it in to them. It's another opportunity for Rasmus to get on some goals, and I think he will get the job done for us this time. And as always, this is brought to you by our friends at Parimatch UK, and I do have an exclusive bet boost for you that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else. And my bet for this game against Newport County is going to be as follows. United over 5.5 corners, United over 1.5 goals, and Scott Bennett to be carded. That's what I'm thinking. And if you fancy that, it's been boosted from 23-4 to 7-1. You can't get that anywhere else. And if you fancy getting involved on that bet boost, all you got to do is click the link in the description. Prices are subject to change. You do have to be over 18 to participate. And we know that football, the FA Cup and Manchester United are completely hard to predict. So this isn't any sort of promise of winning. It is literally just a little bit of fun to enhance your enjoyment of the game. If you want help or more information on responsible gaming, then please visit begambleaware.org. And once again, it's exclusive to me and Parimatch. So click the link in the description and get involved. Otherwise, if you're not going to get involved, just give me your score prediction in the comments. How's that? Right then, so how are we winning this game? First and foremost, be lethal. Looking back at the Wigan game, we didn't really take our chances. We created so many and we just didn't really get it done as early as it should have been. The game ended up being really, really boring and uninspiring because we wasn't taking our chances. Højlund and McTominay were particularly poor, I thought, against Wigan, and between them they missed just far too many chances. We have to be more clinical in this one, and if we can put the pressure on from the jump, earn ourselves an early goal, that's going to make Newport have to come for us. Otherwise, if they can get to the 60th or the 70th minute at 0-0, the crowd's going to start to believe, the players might start to believe, and one goal from that moment would win it for them. So the best thing United can do is just get on the score sheet nice and early and then relax and go, we know you've got to come for us. It's a cup game. You're going home. Or you're already at home, but you're going home. And they need to come for you. That's the best thing that we could do. We can't afford to miss any chances again because it can bite you in the FA Cup. And if you get into that last quarter of the game and it's even Stevens at 0-0 or even at 1-1, the belief that will start to creep in and the doubts that will start to creep in, and I imagine the crowd will be very hostile. Small gaffes like that, where you're very close to the pitch and it's rammed to the rafters, can really start to get onto you as a team. And the facilities will be substandard compared to what United are used to, or maybe not, if we're being honest. And all of those things start to add up. They're going to be running harder than you. They might not be as fit and they might not be as good, but they are going to want it more than you because it's Manchester United and it's that 15 minutes of fame that these lads might have. And some of them end up getting moves on the back of a good performance because it's going to be on the telly. People are going to be watching. So you've got to make sure you get them done early and then just do your jobs. And we're miles better than them. Of course we are. We're not even pretending anything otherwise here. The gulf between the Premier League, the top end of the Premier League, whether you think United are title challengers or not, right? And I don't think we are. But we are top 4 contenders. We are one of the best 3 or 4 or 5 at worst teams in the country. So teams that are in the top 100 teams in the country, or anywhere from 80 to 100 in the ranking, shouldn't really be fucking with us. We should easily go and turn these over. But you have to do your jobs. You know, there's not a lot to say about games like this. You should steamroll them. You just got to do your job, be calm, don't let the occasion get to you, and just do what you've practiced. Simple as that. And the beauty of football is it isn't played on paper, and cup upsets do happen. That's why we love it. That's why we're tuning in. But let's not have an upset this time round, okay? Cheers for tuning in. Check out the exclusive bet with Pyromatch by checking the link out in the description, and I'll see you lot in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.